أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. I bear witness that there is no deity worthy of worship except Allah, and I bear witness that Muhammad is his servant and messenger. Today's video is about the question that Mr. Brak intellectually. I'm really sorry, Mr. Brak, it's really hard to read the second part of your name on YouTube, but I'll move on. That's not important. I guess what's important is to answer your questions. Now, in my previous video, or as an answer to your question, which was about our beloved Prophet being married, I remind you again, Brak, or Mr. Brak, or Mrs. Brak, I don't know whether you're a man or a woman. I hope you don't mind me calling you Brak only. So I urge you to think about it again. Marriage. No one said rape, kidnap, or anything like what you got right now in every part of the world. If it was not marriage, I will not be a Muslim by now. Okay? And if you can prove to me that it was not a marriage, a legitimate marriage, I will leave Islam right now and become whatever you are. You said you're not Christian, you're not an atheist, whatever you still contemplating all that. I congratulate you. At least you are an intelligent person, and you did not fall for what 2 billion people fell for, which is worship a human being, and that human being is supposed to be the son of himself, who came down here. He sent himself, whom is the son of himself and is the father of himself, came down to earth in order to get killed by the very people who sinned against him. So he is sending his son, whom is himself at the same time, to get killed by the very same people whom sinned against him, only to forgive them. By doing that, he is literally adding to their sins, meaning they were only sinning against him by doing earthly things. But now by killing God himself, it's an even greater sin. So I urge you not to go down that way, and if you have to choose a way, choose Islam. Now, if this is a stumbling block on your way to Islam, I will clarify it for you. Okay? Though it is mentioned in what is called Sahihain, Bukhari and Muslim, not every hadith in the Bukhari and Muslim is actually an authentic or sahih. Now, whoever is listening to me may know, may not know. Christian Prince will say that, oh, you're denying hadith, that means you're denying yourself. No, sir. Us, whom know what Bukhari and Muslim is, we know what's being written there and what is narrated. There are some hadiths that are taken from a narrator who is not linked to our beloved Prophet. And if there is not a chain of narration, trusty all the way to the Prophet, then we'll leave it out. So it could be just it could be just a story being told, or it could be a story that was actually added into our tradition by the enemies of Islam, because they could not get into the Quran, so they got into the hadith. Okay? And we call that al-Isra'iliyat, meaning stories from the Israelites. We all know at the time there was these 5 or 6 tribes in Medina, where the Prophet actually had his mission. I'm sure you know what Medina is and where the Medina is. So some of them accepted Islam, many of them accepted Islam, and some of them did not, and some actually were enemies of Islam, so they were trying to do anything, anything, including defamation, demonizing our beloved prophet, attempt of killing, attempt of assassination, and so on and so forth. Now, my dear Brak, the question you said that the age of Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, is kind of not going down well with you, because you think that she was under age. Right. No, age. Like if you look into my generation, I'm older than you. Maybe I don't know if I'm older than you. I'm not. But my mother married my father when she was 14. Okay, and when she was 14, she was a lady. And this was when my mother was born in 1945. So when she was 14, she was a lady already. Okay. If you go back in generations, like a 10 years old or a 9 years old girl, whom you call girl, was no longer an underage. In the Jewish tradition, a girl is marriageable at the age of 3 years and 1 day. You can find that in the Talmud. You can check yourself. I urge you, Brak, I urge you to go and do your own research. Do not take my word for it. Do not take Mr. Christian Prince's word for it. Do not allow anyone to indoctrinate you. I am here and I'm asking you this. Though I am presenting Islam to you through answering your questions, I know that you are an intellectual and you are going to do your own research. So please don't disappoint me on that. Now, as I was saying, even the version of the hadith that says she was 9, even if that bit is true, 9 years old at that time, 1,400 years ago, 438 years ago, would have been a lady physically. If you think mentally she was not mature enough, then you are wrong, sir. Okay? First of all, the area where she was, a girl. Hold on, let me just stop this phone. It looks like they are going crazy sending me stuff. So, the area which is the Middle East, which is warmer, a girl actually ripens. Sorry, I shouldn't be using the word ripen, because you will think that I'm thinking about her like I don't know what. But I will use a different word, matures in an earlier age than anywhere else in the world. Now, having said that, now who said that our beloved prophet took that 9 years old and had sexual intercourse with her? Do you have it anywhere? Yeah, because all what we know from that hadith is that she was taken from her mother's house to her husband's house, and that's it. No one said that like what the Bible says, and made love to her. No, sir. There is nowhere anywhere in our literature, in our tradition, or in a non-Muslim tradition, that our beloved prophet and our mother Aisha had sexual intercourse at that time. You know, because our beloved prophet had other wives at that time, so he did not need to go and have sexual intercourse with her right away. Okay, now let me read your question again, which is this. Okay, so I will gladly see the sources. Let me see what was before that. Apologies, I cannot be available at that because I work. That is PM. I'll be still work. What else? A debate, of course. That if you have time, leave that. What is that you're trying to say? By the way, I wanted to check this out. Trying to say if it was wrong, they would criticize him for it. Yes, sir. I maintain that. Yes, if it was wrong, it would be mentioned in non-Muslim writings, and they would have criticized him. So let's see. You said that's simply not true. Okay, and what is true? Those were ancient times. Oh, thank you. Oh, so it is ancient times only when it serves you. Ancient time does not apply to the girl in the ancient times that she could have been mature enough to be married. No, but it's only ancient time when it comes to criticism. Come on, you have to be fair. Be fair. Okay. And people had different mentality. Oh, thank you again. People had different mentality. Did we say that Prophet Muhammad is a God? Did we say that he is son of God? Did we say that he is 2 in 1 or something like that? No, he was a man. He married. Like, if you go into the Jewish tradition, you go to the Bible, you will find that each and every prophet had many wives. As a matter of fact, Sulaiman alayhi salam, Solomon, peace be upon him, had what? 1,000. Some say that he had 600 or 700 wives and 300 concubines. Are you gonna? Oh yeah, by the way, and just so you would know, if you are going anywhere, if you need to embrace any religion, let it not be Christianity, because they make a mess out of their messengers and prophets, whom are supposedly to be men of God. Now let's get back to our beloved prophet and the different mentality. Sir, different mentality and different physique. Okay? A 9 years old girl would have been way bigger than a 15 years old girl nowadays, or what you see nowadays, in both mentally and physically. So you saying, but that doesn't excuse his action. That sorry, had different mentality in that. But that, yes, sorry, I'm getting lost. Doesn't excuse his actions, especially if everyone in your religion is saying how your prophet is a perfect example to follow. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is a very good example to follow in terms of this. And I need you to focus in here, you and whoever is listening. He is setting an example for generations to come, that you young men and young women get married at early age in order to be safe from the sin of fornication. Take the West. I'm not criticizing the West. I am only showing you an example that they do not marry and they start having sex at the age of 12 and 13. I showed a link at some stage where it shows on Wikipedia, which is that some girls had children at the age of 5 and 6 and 7. And if you want to have a look at that, Let's go. I think I've already done that, but there's no harm in showing you. So young, you can Google it, youngest mothers in the world. So you can follow here. You can just go through here. I'm not going to take long. I'm just here showing you. Look here. Yeah, we're starting from 5 and going up. This is, what is this? 9. And here in the United States, when was the last one having 2013? Okay, I'm not going to dwell on that, but just Google it. Physically, a girl can have a baby at the age of 5, according to Wikipedia, not me. So where were we? So I was telling you that our beloved Prophet is teaching us that it is actually safe to get married, even if just the girl just comes and lives in her husband's home, to say with his parents. In where I come from, in our culture, many got married, and the girl was just taken into the house and treated like a girl or like a daughter. She didn't have to go and sleep with the boy. They would marry them early, and then they will just have her in there. First of all, is economic. Some poor families, they would want to get rid of one mouth, to send it to another family to take care of her. Second, they would want her to go and get acquainted to that family and get used to live in that family. The third is to have their boy, the receptor family, or the family of the husband, to have their boy learn that he has a responsibility. Fourth is to get him to get serious and not to go into the sin. He knows that he has a wife. He doesn't need to go somewhere else. All there is just time until he is mature enough, and she's mature enough to actually have intimacy. So I can go on and on and on. Christians, Orthodox, and I give you an example like the Romanian community. I've seen them right here where I live. They get their children married at the age of 13, 12, 13. They are actually getting them together in bed. By the age of 14, 15, they have children, and I've seen them with my own eyes in here in the West. And it was all over the news at some stage, but they hide it. They don't show it to the government. Anyway, why do they do that? So their children don't go around messing around with sex and alcohol and drugs. The boy and the girl are held at home, where the new parents, or for the girl it's new parents, but it's her in-laws family. She's watched, she's actually nurtured into good traditions, instead of letting her go out and do whatever she wants to do and be misled, actually, because going out and drinking and having sex and other drugs is the worst thing that can happen to your children. And our beloved Prophet in here is actually he is actually a perfect role model. And if you have a problem with having your children being safeguarded and kept away from sins, then it's your problem and someone else's problem. Nobody can actually protect your children except you. And if you get them actually into a legitimate relationship, which is marriage, they will not mess around. I have seen girls going out drinking, taking drugs, having sex, getting pregnant and having children at a very young age. My neighbor, a very young girl, she was 11 years old when she gave birth to her first baby. Do you know why? Because she was staying out night time until around midnight. I saw her with my own eyes. They were drinking, they were having what they called fun, when it was not fun at all. Compare that to a Muslim family where they watch their kids, they take care of them, and they do not produce illegitimate children whom they don't even know their fathers, and they will grow up not knowing their fathers, and they will hate the society for not having a father like everyone else. A kid will go to school and will be asked, "Oh, what's your father's name? What does he look like? Oh, is he here to collect you?" And he will be like, I don't know." Do you know how stressful that is? Do you know how a bad feeling that is for a kid to be asked a question, "Oh, what is your father?" Oh, then you'll be like, "Oh, I don't know. I've never known my father." Do you know that he will hate his family? He will hate first his mother, and then the whole family, and then from there he will take it on the whole society which did not protect him. So yes, sir, our beloved Prophet was a role model, a perfect role model, not just any role model. Okay, so you're saying he is not perfect, he is not morally pure? Really? Are you kidding me? Now let me give you an overall picture so you will understand. Our beloved Prophet, before marrying this young girl, according to you, underage girl, was married to a 60 years old Sauda, al-Mu'mineen Sauda, our beloved mother Sauda. She was 60 years old. She was a widow. She was a black woman. She was a fat woman. She was not. She was unwanted by the society. He came and took her in, made her a wife, look after her. That was a model of a man. That is a perfect model for men to take care of the vulnerable members of the society. And that's one. First one is the widow. Before, his first wife was 15 years older than him. That is a perfect model. Still, not to let down a widow. And so on and so forth. Okay? Divorcees, you name it, slaves and all that. He married them in order to actually show an example for his followers to take care of these vulnerable members of the society. Unless if you have a better solution for them, I dare you and challenge you, Mr. Brak, to bring it over and let me know. Unless if you're talking about today's standards, which are like, oh, you've got a social welfare and you have a statement giving you, state or the government giving you, I don't know, wage, a weekly wage or a monthly wage, helping the widows and no, sir, that does not apply everywhere in the world, and it did not apply at the time and the time after. It only started recently when countries got kind of wealthier. From who, I don't know, but they got wealthier. Sorry, I'm taking off my socks. It was really cold in here and it was snowing and all. I needed my socks, but now I feel warm. Right, so though the situation now in the West is better, it was not. Okay? Just go back 40 to 50 years. Women in the society were suffering. They were actually forced to sell themselves as meat on the street. and until now it is happening. The role model, the Prophet Muhammad, the good and the perfect role model, actually suggested a better way to take care of these vulnerable members of the society, women. Marry them. Have a legitimate relationship that is acknowledged by the society, acknowledged by God. Okay? And I know you may not accept that, but this is fact, and you cannot suggest a better way than this. You tell me, oh, we open a shelter for women. Wrong. Because all you're doing is giving her shelter and giving her food. How about feelings? How about a hug? How about going to bed with someone? That intimacy. That is very, very important. And if you think that a woman will be happy if you just give her €100 or $100 a week or 200 or whatever money you give her, that you're totally wrong. Go and ask women. Go yourself and ask a widow or a divorcee what she needs most. She would give up anything. She would live on a loaf of bread and water, but she would want to have a man next to her. Sir, I know that nowadays women are more liberated and they think that, oh no, we don't want to be second. But not long ago, after the World War II and World War I, women were begging men to marry 2 and 3. Here in the United Kingdom and in Europe, in Germany and many other places. So when our beloved Prophet was setting that example, he had an insight. Allah showed him and told him that. Okay? So, sir, let me read a bit. He might have been a good person and a great religious leader, but he was not perfect, period. Look, I just proved to you that his teaching are actually were not only beneficial to him, to his society at his time, but they will always and forever be the best teachings ever for humanity. Sir, I challenge anyone to come up with a better way. Okay? Alright? Now, it's better than having the temple prostitute. And I urge you to check that out. Alright? Let's see what you got down here. I don't care about birth, mother, etc. I think it's unethical to have sexual relations with a child. Who said that he had sexual relations with that child at that age? If you have it, bring it over. Who said she was a child at the time she was married? If you have it, bring it over. I know you're going to bring the hadith that says she was 9. First of all, 9 at that time was not a child at all. Okay? She is not fully mentally developed, and we both know that a young girl isn't as mature as an... Of course, sir. Who said that? Have I ever said that a 9 years old would be mentally developed as a 50 years old? That applies to every age, not only to the ancient age like you called it. Okay? So, excuse me. So you said, so it's easy for him to manipulate her. Manipulate her. Did you know that the community, the society benefited from that marriage so much? She became a teacher later on when the Prophet died, because no one knew our beloved Prophet than her. And she was teaching the companions after him and generation after him. She has over 2,200 teachings, I mean hadith, in Islam. Nobody has it. Over 2,200 teachings, and all about life and family life and the Prophet's life. Just in case you didn't know that, do your research, sir, do your research. I found something for you, Aisha, on Wikipedia. So, she is also known for narrating what you can see here. I'm reading it. I know the video quality here, mine is really bad. Well, I'm sorry, I'm not the most technical kid in the neighborhood. That's all I can come up with. She is also known for narrating 2,210 hadiths. Okay, that is from Wikipedia. So, Brak, this is just one of the websites where you can find the real age. So Aisha was in reality 18 when she married. That's just one of the opinions. Okay, so you want to just check this. It's called The Truth is From God.com and the age of Aisha. So let's check. Okay, according to these references, there's more you can read yourself, but for now I just want to read a bit here and there. So the mission of the Prophet started in Mecca, where is continued for 13 years old. What? Blah blah blah. I'm tattering. Anyway, sorry, but you can read that. Continued for 13 years, after which is continued for 10 years in Medina. The start of the mission was in the year 610 AD, and the migration to Medina was in 623 AD. The Prophet died in the year 633, which was 10 years after he migrated to Medina. It is also agreed that the Prophet married Aisha year 3 of the migration, 3 years after he migrated. 4 years. Sorry, no. Aisha 3 years before his migration to Medina, which was in year 620. This was the 10th year after the start of the revelation, when Aisha was 6 years old. Then he started having sex intercourse with her after 3 years, after few months, which was the end of the year 623, when she was 9 years old. This implies that she was born in the year 614, which was the 4th year of the revelation according to Bukhari. And this is great fallacy. This is a great fallacy because it could not have been happened that way. Impossible. Now let's read some of the criticism. So historical accounts, all historical references state that Asma, the daughter of Prophet Muhammad, Aisha's sister, was 10 years old than her sister Aisha. The same references agree unanimously that Asma was born 27 years before the migration to Medina. This means that Asma was 14 years old at the start of the revelation, okay, in 610. And Aisha was 4. This means that Aisha was born in the year 606 AD. So what do we have here? We have seen that the Prophet married Aisha in the year 620, which would make her 14 years at the time. It is also stated that the Prophet started his sexual intercourse 3 years and few months after the marriage, which would be the end of the year, the first year after Hijrah, and the beginning of the second year, which was the year 624. If Aisha was born in the year 606, if you do your calculation in between this and this, then she would have been 18 years old when she started a full marriage life with the Prophet. More, the age of Aisha in relation to the death of her sister, this is the best bit you need to focus on. The death of her sister Asma. The same references unanimously confirm that Asma died after a well-documented incident, which was the death of her son Abdullah ibn Zubayr by the hand of the famous tyrant Al-Hajjaj. This happened in the year 73 Hijri, when she was what? She was 100. 2 seconds there, I need to take this call. So Asma died when she was 100 years old. If we subtract 73 from 100, we would know that Asma was 27 years old at the time of the Prophet's migration to Medina, which was start of the Hijri calendar. Since Asma was 10 years old than Aisha, this makes Aisha 17 years old at the time of the migration. Yeah, and since the Prophet started a full marital wife with Aisha at the end of the first year after Hijrah, then the age of Aisha would have been 17 plus 1 after the Hijrah to make her 18. The reason why I'm showing you this, and you may not look, I do not expect you to believe what's in here. You believe whatever you want. You go ahead and do your own research. The thing is, I will just rewind back or step back to remind you that what's in Bukhari and what's in Muslim, it's another story. You see, if we look into the facts which are presented in here, on this website here, you will see that the hadith narrated or added into al-Bukhari could not, about Aisha being 9 years old, just could not be true. Okay, there is no way that Aisha could have been 9 years old when she married our beloved Prophet. There is another thing, that in a battle, Aisha was there. In a battle between the Muslims and the non-Muslims, Aisha was there serving water to the fighters. Now, there is a law in Islam that no kid, no one under 16 can go to the battle. Okay? And she was not married to a prophet. If she was married to the prophet, she would not have been allowed into the battle, because wives, they stay at home, men go to the battle. So yeah, so going back there, where were we? So we stop here. So this is also confirmed by At-Tabari, who asserts in his book The History of Nations that all the children of Abu Bakr were born in the days of the Jahiliyyah. Okay, the days before the revelation, meaning before Islam. This is consistent with the correct chronology and exposes the dubious nature of the narration in Bukhari, the first hadith that we were talking about. Aisha indeed was born in the 4th year before the start of the prophetic mission. So you add that to that, you get even 18 up, just so you would know. Some would say 17, some would say 18, some say it even 16. Why is that? It is because of the narration, and because they're not very far from each other, 16 or 17 or 18, at the time they were only calling the year off. They were not saying the year number. No, the year off. The year we migrated, the year there was a drought, the year there was an abundant harvest, stuff like that. Anyway, so there's some other criticism of the narration found in the books of hadith and biography. It was reported by Ibn Kathir in the beginning and the end regarding the ones who were the early believers. Out of the women Asma and Aisha, who was a young girl, these believed in the years when the Prophet was preaching secretly for fear of persecution. Okay. I will drop a link to this website and then let you read in your own time. I hope you will be able to take some time. Okay, I went through a few things there. I don't want to keep this video very long because I want it to be a mean of a question and answer between you and I, Brak, and I would be very happy to hear back from you. So I'm gonna stop it here and let you have a look and a listen, and then please get back to me. But last thing I would like to say is that our beloved Prophet married many wives whom were not actually virgin, or say were married before getting married to him. Yet some people would have no problem with that, and they would blame him for marrying one whom was getting married for the first time. They will ignore all the good side of it and then bring one that suits their whatever their agenda, their point of view, their stand. So I urge you to look into it and listen to what I said and get back to me whenever you get a chance. Other than that, thank you for asking. May Allah bless you. I will finish with this statement, which is, I bear witness that there is no deity worthy of worship except Allah, without partners, without children or father. And I bear witness that our beloved Prophet is his servant and messenger. So, last greeting, Assalamu alaikum.